Have you ever heard the sudden crash of a loved one falling? Evelyn, at 72, was simply reaching for her laundry when her world shifted. A broken wrist, a shaken heart, and a fear that never quite left. Many believe falling is just part of growing older. But what if it isn't? What if small habits, how you step, where you look, how you hold your shoulders, quietly steal your balance? 1 out of 3 women over 65 will experience a fall every year. Not because they're weak, not because they're fragile, but because of subtle habits no one ever warned them about. Evelyn thought she was careful, like so many of us do. Yet, tiny changes in how we walk, stand, and move can quietly build into risk. The good news? Balance isn't lost forever. In the next few minutes, we'll break down the most common walking mistakes and how you can retrain your body, rebuild your confidence, and walk freely again, just like Evelyn is learning to do now. Have you ever noticed how many older women start to shuffle their feet as they walk? It feels safer. Smaller steps, closer to the ground, less chance to trip, or so it seems. But here's the truth. Shuffling is one of the most dangerous traps, quietly stealing your balance. Margaret, 74, from Florida, shuffled everywhere, around the house, at the grocery store, and even in her garden. She thought lifting her feet felt risky, especially after her friend had a nasty fall. But that shuffling slowly weakened her hip flexors, thigh muscles, and ankles, the muscles responsible for stability. When your feet barely clear the ground, even a tiny rug edge, uneven tile, or crack in the sidewalk becomes a hidden threat. A shuffle doesn't allow your body time to react or catch itself. One day, Margaret caught her slipper on a small door threshold. It wasn't even an inch high, but it was enough. Down she went, fracturing her hip. Before we continue, take a moment. Have you noticed yourself shuffling lately? If so, stay with me, because what we'll uncover next could make all the difference. The solution isn't complicated. Simple exercises like gentle high knee marches, even while holding onto a chair, help retrain your muscles to lift and clear your feet confidently. And as you'll see in the next section, your posture plays a decisive role too, often without you even realizing it. It often starts so quietly. A little more time looking down at your phone, leaning in to read a recipe, or glancing closer to hear your grandchild whisper. Without realizing it, your head begins shifting forward, inch by inch. That's precisely what happened to Linda, 69, from Ohio. Over the years, her daily habits gently pulled her head forward, rounding her shoulders and curving her upper spine into what doctors call forward head posture. But here's the surprising part. Every inch her head moved forward placed an extra 10 pounds of pressure on her neck and spine. This pulled her center of gravity ahead of her feet, quietly disturbing her natural balance. For Linda, simple tasks like reaching for a cabinet or turning to answer a phone call suddenly felt unstable. One rainy afternoon, while stepping off her porch, the forward tilt of her head pulled her off balance before her feet could react. She fell hard onto the wet pavement. Thankfully, there's a gentle way to correct this. Imagine a string attached to the top of your head, lightly pulling you toward the ceiling. Tuck your chin slightly, open your chest, and relax your shoulders. With consistent practice, this simple habit restores balance and eases neck and back strain. Next, we'll uncover how even your arms, yes, your arms, play a surprisingly influential role in protecting your stability with every step you take. Have you ever caught yourself walking with your arms stiff by your sides, almost like you're bracing for something? It may feel safer to lock your arms, but it's quietly stealing your balance. Catherine, 76, from Arizona, began doing this after watching a friend trip and fall. She thought keeping her arms tight would give her more control and less room for error. But instead, her body lost one of its most natural stabilizers. You see, when we walk, our arms are meant to swing gently in opposition to our legs. This swinging motion helps counterbalance each step, keeping our center of gravity steady. By freezing her arms, Catherine forced her body to rely solely on her legs and core for balance, which, at her age, had already grown weaker. It wasn't long before she felt unsteady, especially on uneven sidewalks or when turning. One afternoon, as she stepped off a small curb, the lack of a natural arm swing left her unable to adjust quickly. She stumbled hard, narrowly avoiding a serious injury. The fix? Practice gentle arm swings during short walks at home. As your right leg steps forward, allow your left arm to swing forward naturally, and vice versa. Keep the motion loose, not exaggerated. Over time, your body will remember this rhythm, and your balance will feel steadier with every step. In our next section, you'll see how even your fear of falling, yes, the fear itself, can quietly sabotage your stability. Sometimes our steps become smaller after a scare, not because we can't walk normally, but because we're too afraid to. And sadly, that fear quietly increases the risk we're trying to avoid. Janice, 71 from North Carolina, knew this feeling too well. After slipping once on a wet kitchen floor, she became terrified of falling again. Every outing became stressful. She shortened her steps, barely lifting her feet, constantly scanning for danger. It felt safer, but her balance told a different story. Short, stiff steps disrupt the body's natural rhythm. The upper body tends to sway more without momentum, and every minor misstep feels magnified. Janice's center of gravity shifted higher, making her even more vulnerable. One afternoon, her shoe caught a tiny crack while crossing a small parking lot. With no room to adjust, she nearly fell. Saved only by her daughter's arm walking beside her. The key to breaking this cycle begins not with your feet, but with calming your mind. Before walking, take a deep breath. Allow your shoulders to relax. Then focus on smooth, even strides, neither rushed nor overly cautious. Your confidence will return with practice, and each step will feel stronger and more secure. In the next part, we'll see how even the simple act of where you place your gaze while walking can quietly tip your balance in the wrong direction. So many seniors believe that constantly watching their feet will keep them safe. But this habit quietly sets a dangerous trap. Elaine, 73 from Oregon, was always told to watch where you're going. After her neighbor's fall, she took that advice to heart, perhaps too much. Every time she walked, her gaze locked on the ground just a few feet ahead, scanning for cracks, bumps, or anything that might trip her. But by focusing downward, Elaine unknowingly shifted her head and neck forward, throwing off her body's natural alignment, much like we saw with the turtleneck posture. Worse, her brain received less information about the broader environment by looking down, losing critical cues about distance, obstacles, and balance adjustments. One afternoon, walking to the mailbox, Elaine missed seeing a low-lying branch. Focused solely on her feet, she bumped into it, stumbled backwards, and narrowly avoided a serious fall. The fix? Instead of staring directly at your feet, train your eyes to focus about 8 to 10 feet ahead. This allows your brain to process the whole environment while keeping your posture and head balanced over your spine. Your peripheral vision will still catch small obstacles below, but your entire body stays aligned and ready to react. Next, we'll explore how relying too much on nearby furniture, those tempting walls and countertops, can quietly erode your balance even further. Sometimes what feels like safety can quietly turn into risk. That's precisely what happened. After a minor fall in her kitchen, Doris developed the habit of leaning on furniture as she moved around her home. Her constant companions were her hand on the countertop, a light grip on the wall, and fingertips tracing the back of a chair. At first it felt comforting. She belly. The problem? By leaning on furniture, one afternoon, while visiting her daughter's home, she walked down a wide hallway with no walls nearby. Without anything to lean on, she panicked. Her body swayed, her steps faltered, and she stumbled into a small table, narrowly avoiding a fall. The solution lies in rebuilding confidence, step by step. Start by practicing short walks in open areas at home. Use a hallway or open room where you can focus on your posture, gentle arm swings, and steady, even steps. Without reaching for support, over time your body will relearn to trust itself again. Next, we'll explore how one common movement, turning too quickly, can silently set the stage for unexpected falls. Not every fall happens while walking straight ahead. Sometimes the simple act of turning catches you off guard. Joan, 75 from Michigan, was making her usual morning tea. As the kettle whistled, she quickly twisted to reach for her favorite mug behind her. Her upper body turned sharply in that split second, while her feet stayed planted. The sudden twist threw off her balance. Before she could correct herself, she stumbled sideways, barely catching the edge of the countertop to stop her fall. Quick, isolated turns like this are risky because they separate the movement of your upper and lower body. When the head, shoulders, and hips aren't moving together, the brain struggles to maintain balance, especially as we age. The solution? Think of turning as a full-body movement. Start by gently rotating your head and eyes toward where you want to go. Let your shoulders follow, then your hips, and finally your feet. This keeps your center of gravity stable throughout the turn. You can practice this safely at home. Stand in place and practice slow, controlled turns, focusing on keeping your body aligned and moving as one smooth unit. As we approach the final section, we'll reveal a common moment. Getting up in the morning, where a small habit change can significantly reduce your fall risk. Mornings often feel peaceful until one small habit turns them risky. It's common to wake up, swing your legs over the bed, and stand up quickly, eager to start the day. But for many seniors, this simple motion can trigger dangerous dizziness. Helen, 78 from Texas, learned this the hard way. One morning she stood up too fast after a long night's rest. Within seconds, her vision blurred, her head felt light, and the room spun. She tried to steady herself, but her legs wobbled, and she sat back down abruptly, narrowly avoiding a fall. This sudden dizziness is often caused by orthostatic hypotension, a temporary drop in blood pressure when changing positions too quickly. As we age, our circulatory system responds more slowly, making these drops more common. Thankfully, the solution is gentle and straightforward. When waking, take your time. Sit up slowly, allowing your body to adjust. Pause for 20 to 30 seconds, take a few steady breaths, and gently move your feet before standing. This gives your blood pressure time to stabilize and reduces that risky morning dizziness. Now that we've uncovered these 8 silent walking mistakes, it's time to bring it all together and share the simple, powerful habit that can help you rebuild balance and walk confidently once again. What if I told you that falling isn't part of aging? It's part of forgetting how to trust your body. Evelyn, Margaret, Linda, Catherine, Janice, Elaine, Doris, Joan, and Helen, their stories aren't rare. They're everyday women who simply carried tiny habits for years. Habits that quietly shifted their balance, weakened their confidence, and turned simple movements into dangerous risks. But here's the beautiful truth. Just as these habits were learned, they can also be unlearned. Your body is remarkable. Even now, no matter your age, it can adapt, strengthen, and rebuild. When you practice lifting your feet fully, keeping your head tall, allowing your arms to swing naturally, calming your breath, focusing your gaze ahead, walking without clinging to walls, turning your whole body, and standing up slowly, you aren't just avoiding falls. You are reclaiming freedom. Freedom to stroll through your garden again. Freedom to walk hand in hand with your loved ones. Freedom to move without that silent voice whispering, "What if I fall?" And it begins with one small choice. Awareness. Awareness turns into practice. Practice turns into habit. Habit turns into confidence. If this video spoke to you, if even one of these 8 traps made you nod and say, "That's me," then now is your moment. Drop a comment below saying Ella60 and let's support each other on this journey. Your action today can rewrite your tomorrow. Click that like button if you found this helpful. Subscribe for more simple, life-changing tips every week. And don't forget to share this video with someone you love. You might help them avoid the fall they fear most. Because life after 60 isn't about slowing down. It's about moving forward, safely, confidently, joyfully.